Here is how today I missed out on a 400 point reversal on Nasdaq 100. Crazy day in the markets, guys. Let's get right into it. So today, here's the results on both accounts. So ended up green on this account because I made back the losses. I took some losses initially on Nasdaq 100. These didn't have to end up in loss, but I didn't take the profit when I got it. I was up 1% on these before I let it come back, which I shouldn't have. And then these ones I closed for a 1%, little over 1% gain. But because I had already took these loss, I kind of reduced the profit margin, as well as I closed pretty early instead of holding this trade. Even though I could have been inside of this trade as we speak. Then on this account, I took several losses. So the swing positions that I opened on EU, those got stopped. I tried to take a buy last night. Several times I tried to take some buys on US 100 and we end up just kept on selling. And then during the overnight session, I left a limit order with a 165 point stop, very wide because I was trying to catch a swing. That got stopped out and I lost there, as well as I took some buys today in the day, and that's how I recovered the loss. So I'm only down $200 for today, or $213 after the swap and commissions and all of that. So that's how today turned out for me. Let's get right into today's review. So today, pretty pretty interesting day today in the market. Very interesting day. So starting out on the higher time frame, we have here right now the 4 hour time frame, and this is how we did today. So today we had a pretty heavy sell off from the overnight session going straight into New York. We sold for over, let me see, from the top to the bottom, over 600 points, taking out yesterday's low and coming below also previous weekly low before we reversed in New York session. So we had a pretty heavy sell off right there. And see, if I show you EU now, the trades that I entered, they were right inside of this consolidation I thought would have held, but this escalation I got stopped out somewhere down here in these, and we ended up selling off. Now I'm going to hold back on entering any more swing positions on this pair for right now. I don't think it's ready yet, or even if I do, then it's going to be way smaller risk. I want to get a tighter stop and a bigger risk to reward on that trade. And they actually went into profit, but not by much. And I didn't take off the profit because I was expecting us to push up, but because of the geopolitical tensions that have escalated between Iran and Israel and the rest of countries in the Middle East and America, um, currently everything is risk off. So they're just selling everything, bleeding out. Everybody is just trying to stay cash. Everybody is just trying to stay liquid. So we have some very weird price action. So at one point in time, gold was selling off before we decided to buy back up. And see, even tonight, we actually buying right back up. Well, we sold off again for the opening of the session right here. So if you look at this chart currently, we sold all the way down here. So we actually closed down here, but we're trying to go back up right now with the current open. Um, when I was looking at this today, I think we were going up. think we were going up. So we went up here, and it was, well, let me see this price action. Is this goal? Yeah, it is goal. So we sold today, but it was a nice little buy position going up today. I guess it was on the lower time frame, but we ended up coming back down to close there. So pretty interesting right there. So Nasdaq sold off, US 30 sold off, the SPX 500 also pretty heavy sell off. You know, I'm going to hold off on trying to catch some swings, even though I think after this liquidation, I think we could actually attempt to go back for all-time highs. But I'm going to hold off and try to get some better positions during these pushes, because I don't want to keep back and forth break even on these accounts. So that is it on the 4-hour time frame. Let's now look at the 1-hour time frame that we have right here. Just looking at the Nasdaq. So honestly, today I wanted us to come down here, and maybe we would have respected this new week opening gap or new day opening gap. Plus, I was looking at this fair value gap that was pretty much in equilibrium and a pretty lower time frame, and I was saying this is substantial enough pullback for us to come back here, and then we would have run higher. We ended up just bleeding right through this and taking out the previous daily low and finding a bit of support here on this 1-hour chart. Let me look to the left and see if I can spot where we actually holding from. So it's this 1-hour fair value gap, as well as an order block from all the way in the first week of February. So we retested the previous lows right here, and that's where we bought from today. So pretty interesting day that played out today on the chart. So ended up taking some buy positions early in the morning, and those went deep into profit over 200 points, and then now they came right back to break even and even went into drawdown, and I had to close. I closed some of them, and then now I end up re-entering right around 9:30, 10 there about, before we got this push right here, and I exited somewhere over here before we did all of this expansion. So that is on the 1-hour time frame. Let's now look at the 15-minute time frame. So on the 15 minutes time frame, what we are seeing here is some pretty wild swings. So today, as I say, from the top to the bottom is over 600 points, and the buys that I took were from right here coming up here. I really wanted us to come back here and then just spring higher, but we decided to do a turtle stoop, manipulate down, taking out the lows. Let me see if I can add this line chart. So see, on this line chart we ended up coming down and sweeping below these lows a second time. So we swept below these lows. I thought this one was enough, but we did a deeper one. That is typical New York manipulation. That's how they normally operate, that is how they normally operate. So they came down for a second sweep, taking out the previous lows, and then we ran from there. I ended up closing my positions here, settling for a 1% gain and pretty much a 0.2% loss on the other account, and just calling it a day there, because I was already in a drawdown and already taking a loss on the day. So the little recall that I had, I just ended up taking it. So that is how we ended today. So had I entered here, because I didn't trust this reversal. Even though I took it, I didn't trust the reversal here. What I was seeing here, the way how we reverse from a strong engulfing closing below the lows, and then now this candle waking up, I entered inside of this right here, and we ended up coming down, retesting again, and even here I was saying one day if we're going to sell off. But when I see the candle flip up, I was a little bit more confident that we would have went up. So when we finally got up here, I saw the push and I exited somewhere right around here. I think inside of this little reversal here, but I really missed out on pretty much double the money that I made. So another 200 and something points from the 50% of this range here. So that's what we got, and then now we ended up just ending the day there. So let me show you the executions on the accounts. So show you the executions. So on this account, I'm up 0.8%, almost 1%, and see here the executions of this. So these are the executions. So see, I entered and closed actually before that retrace right there. You know, all of this I was inside. I entered from all the way over here, and this went almost a 1% in profit with the size that I took. It was over 100 points. See, over 100 points right there from the entry. Wasn't the best entry, but I was looking at the higher time frame, and then I got stop break even over here because I wanted us to go higher. And even right here, when I re-entered over here, I went back in profit up here another 100 and something points. Especially with this, I could have locked in almost 1.5% here without taking these positions over here, but I end up adding here and taking a loss here on those two positions. So that's how I lost the almost 1%, and then I re-entered over here, and I'm making the almost 1% that I made here. So I really should have entered a little bit lower, but I was watching and I didn't it was outside of the macro. This was around 10:30, and I was trying to basically bottom with this thing. So I just catch it right here, and if I had used the magic keys and think, this could have netted me really probably 3-4% after even partials. So I really closed out here because I wanted to just cover the losses for the day, but we went even higher. Even to up here would have been way better. This would have been at an easily 2.5% from that right there, or even to this high, just to take out the high. But I just take that and I just went with it. So that was the trade on that account. Let me show you on the other account now where I entered. So I took a buy on this also, and I went all the way in profit here. From here to here, it's 160 points, and then I got break even there. I added a few trades inside of here, went into a bit of a drawdown here, but I wasn't using the magic keys or anything. I just entered manually and tried to catch some of this run. I really should have held these trades a bit longer, being as I was only looking at one account, but I was at work. Even though I got the chance to enter using the laptop, I was at work and I wanted to just close and just be done. So I closed here right around, was this around minutes after 11, and then we just pull back a little bit and then we just continue running. I really should have held these trades at least up here. This, the one position here, the highest one, to the higher the day or the higher the main session, this would have actually been $300, 300 points. So this could have netted me over 1%. So $300 there again, and on this one another 300 there. So this could have been a 1% gain. So this is actually $400. This could have been easily a 1% gain. Even if I had closed like some, I could have left one and just hold. Because even right now, even though we might pull back, I think we could actually push up some more and go for the highs. But it is what it is. So let's quickly go over the opportunities that presented themselves. So let's now look at trading view. So we had some decent sell entries here. My bias was bullish, so that's why I set the limit order for buys, and it was inside of this fair value gap here. So we came all the way down here, took out that, but we could have capitalized on some sells. We would have caught over 500 points on the sell side coming down. So looking at London, we had some pretty decent opportunities from right around 130. I got entries right there, entries right here again, right around 2, entries right around 3 again, and entries right around 3:35, and entry again at about 4:15. Pretty decent sell off inside of the macros, and then that is when we started to form a bit of a buy model to go higher. This is where I think I entered somewhere inside of here and I caught this part. So those were some decent buys right here that I could have locked in the gains. And then now over here, another quick push right at 9:30 before catching the reversal coming down. So quick sell off coming down there, and then we had the main buys for the day. So after the manipulation and the quick turtle soup, so we had, see if I can find it. So see where we came below the lows there, and this gave us a nice re-entry right there. Even after we had the inversion right here, I was confident that we would have held from this fair value gap, and I was just saying, you know what, if it stopped me, it stopped me. That's how I just hold this trade. But the best entry would have been right here or right here. And the thing with when the VIX is spiking and elevated, I think it was at 20 something, I think about 24 at least, you can't go break even until you have a good push off. So if I had went break even, then I would have been stopped out on the second part. So I just took out more majority of the positions right here. But this was one entry right here, and stacking inside of this consolidation, looking back at this was a nice buy entry. Another one here, another one here, another one here to run higher. Then we had an entry through lunchtime to continue up, and PM session gave us some buys as well as a few little reversal sells to end the day. But that's how we ended the day. So until next time, guys, I'll catch you tomorrow. Hopefully the week gives us some more opportunities. But that's it for me. Peace.